Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Richard, and in this video I want to compare Autopilot from Tesla versus a driver assistance package just on this VW ID.3, because in reality I don't find the Tesla one that good. I actually quite like using the one in this ID.3. A number of manufacturers have got different driver assistance packages out there, and I get to drive quite a lot of different cars, and in reality I think Tesla's still falling behind. Constant software updates, yes, over the years. Lots of potential, yes, I agree. But it's expensive. I don't think it works very well. So I'm not going to pick the top-end BMW i7 driver package. This is just a Volkswagen ID.3. It's my wife's car, and I use this car a lot, and I like using this. Now, whether it's on an A road, B road, on a motorway, I actually prefer using the driver assistance package in this over my 2024 Tesla, which has Enhanced Autopilot, a £3,500 upgrade. I just don't think it's that good. It's just frustrating the Tesla hasn't got better by now. I remember my first Tesla was 2015, and Autopilot 1 came out. So 2016 I was using AP1, and I was blown away. It was really rather good. Then Autopilot 2 came out, and it was not that good. It's been getting better. But even today, now, 8 years later, I don't think it's that good. And now other manufacturers have got better systems. I think, well, that's what I prefer. I prefer using them. So let me try and explain where and why and how I think a system like this in the VW is better than the Tesla. So I'm just going to film my journey to work, or a section of it at least, in the Tesla, and then the same road, same day in the ID.3. And let me show you the comparisons and why I prefer this. So for purpose of reference, as I filmed this one with the Tesla, that's the 14th of November 2024, software version V12 24.38.6. I'll start off my journey here. I'm in 40 miles an hour section at the moment, which the car recognises, and it's just about to go to 50, as hopefully you can see from the signs there. So the car is increasing to 40, but it's still set to 40. Now it knows it's 50, but if I cancel that with Autopilot, re-engage it, it will now go to 50, but I do have to cancel it and re-engage it to do so. To be honest, if it was just me driving it, I wouldn't normally use Autopilot, but when I use Autopilot on my wife's ID.3, it does quite a different job of this, and it does quite well. And because the speed limit varies, again, I'm having to override this now. I've gone down to 30, and there's a pickup truck closing in. It doesn't need to be, there's a corner there, but it doesn't need to be 30. But because the speed limit varies along here, it is one of those roads that's nice to have at least an adaptive cruise control system that will recognise the speed limit and change the speed of the car. There's a pheasant here, and the car didn't see that. I don't entirely blame it, they're quite small. So again, I had to override that to brake. All sorts of hazards on the commute. Anyone who commutes through London doesn't have the same things. So as I was saying, when I will show you in a minute with the ID.3, I tend to use that along here because it does adapt to the speed limit. So it's good to sort of think, and this is a common thing in the UK, A roads where 1 minute it's 60, then it's 50, then it's 60, then it's 40, then it's 50, then it's 30. That's not uncommon. And it's very easy to sort of drift away, listen to the radio, daydream out the window, have a conversation with a passenger, and not necessarily notice exactly what the speed limit is at the time. So having adaptive cruise on a road like this, which recognises speed limits and changes, is good. My wife's ID.3 is good, Porsche Taycan, Audi, they all do this stuff. But I found that I just can't really use it on this Tesla. Latest 2024 car, latest software, latest Enhanced Autopilot, a £3,500 extra that I don't recommend. I only got it on this car because I could get it with my referral points. So thank you for everyone who has used my referral points. It enabled me to get Enhanced Autopilot. So I've suddenly hit the brakes now. We were already well into the corner, didn't need to do that. I didn't override that, it eased off and has gone back to 50. I've just got to be aware there's traffic behind me, so I don't want to do anything too erratic. There's a Ford Ranger pickup truck, I don't want him crashing into the back of me. So it's still 50. Look at the colours on the trees at the moment, absolutely beautiful. And then we'll see in a minute, as speed limits change, what this car does. Now, I haven't tried this on this road for a month or so, so maybe it's better now. Right, see the signs here, 30 miles per hour. Will this recognise that? So it's the corner coming up as well. It does recognise 30, we are changing to 30. Quite suddenly, I must admit, hit the brakes, now we've gone to 30, we've gone around the corner. But that was all a bit last minute. It was very clumsy. Now we're 28, 27, Ford Ranger pickup truck behind me. I'll try and, please be patient, sir. I'm letting the steering do its thing. Now we're across the white lines. I'm on the cat's eyes. Okay, well, we're round. Here we are. This is 30. It feels quite slow along here, but there's some houses with blind exits and driveways, so it did reduce to 30 there. And what I've found before is it just hasn't. Like, I've come into that corner before, still at 50, still on autopilot. I'm going, hey, okay, yeah, this definitely needs some overriding. Okay. Now here's a sign for 40. So we've had 50, 30, now 40. It's going pretty wide around that corner, I must admit. And it's recognised 40, but it hasn't changed, so I'm going to have to override it. As, say, car right behind me, cancel it, re-engage it, and we're back to 40 again. So I'm having to interact with it to do that. Warning for speed cameras. We're stood in 40. Okay, I've gone through the 30 signs at 40. Now it's started to slow down. There's somebody's sign there flashing at me going, I'm saying too fast. And I'm down to 30. So it is slowing down to the speed limits more consistently. So I can say it's not as bad as I thought it was in terms of when I did this a month ago, it was just ploughing through these. It wasn't slowing down at all. Okay, we're good. Although that was before I had Enhanced Autopilot. That was just Autopilot, so maybe that didn't include it. Let's be fair. Anyway, now it does. So it seems to slow down the speed, but not increase the speed. But the slowing down is too late. It does it when you get to the sign. So you're still going too fast at the time when the speed limit is different. You've got to be careful. But better than nothing. So here we've got this sort of junction here. It's starting to go a bit embarrassingly slow now. 24 trucks behind me is wondering what's going on. Okay, we're managing to negotiate this. Again, I must admit, I'm the first to say to people, this isn't the sort of road you'll drive on autopilot. But I'm letting it do its thing. This is a funny little junction here. It goes around to the right. Does the car know what it's doing? I'm not sure it does. It's cancelled it. Fair enough. Maybe a bit more warning there. And it's still on cruise control. So you've got to be careful here. It cancels the steering, but you still keeps the cruise control on. This pickup truck is right behind me now. Yes, I know, mate. I am doing the speed limit-ish, sometimes a bit slower. Okay, so here's 40, and it doesn't change to 40. I'm going to have to override this now because I'm just annoying people behind me doing a bit cautious. It'd be weird because on camera it might not look like that. Okay, I was hoping he would go a different way. Now I've got to do the steering here, and I'm going to let it try and autopilot this section because there's just obstructions and everything like that. There you go, pickup truck's pulled off, beeping at the time, because I was doing the speed limit. English drivers for you, but then I was just in Italy and my goodness, they're worse. But this is why I was getting annoyed. It goes to 40 and the car's not increasing. So I see other Tesla drivers doing this. I see this happen when I'm driving. I see people going at the speed limit that was, and therefore I do see this. I see Tesla drivers just sitting in the middle lane of the motorway, not pulling over because they're on their autopilot, but it's not lane changing and they're not moving over. So it can be a bit embarrassing. I do see this happening. Okay, so we're in a 40, it's doing 40. Will do. There we go. Gradually, it's a bit lethargic in its kind of pace keeping, but okay, we're being relaxed, we're just commuting to work. So we're braking, or it was braking there. There's some slower traffic in front, fair enough. Again, I had to cancel that steering because it was just going too near the centre then. Okay, so one thing I'll try and demonstrate in this section of carriageway is the car in front, so obviously this is slowing down. Now what happens here is I want to change lanes, so I do that and it's not changing lane. Come on, I want to change lanes. And of course it just isn't doing it. Sometimes it will, and I see this on motorways basically. There's the pickup truck that was beeping at me, he's now further back to try to do a shortcut. So I see some motorways. What happens is on navigating autopilot or autopilot, you indicate to change lanes, and it's still not doing it here. But let's say it changed lanes. What it does this, and then it accelerates gradually. And by then you've normally got another car come straight up behind you, and it's slow. What I'll try and demonstrate in the other cars is that what it does is it starts accelerating as you're merging, so it's much smoother with the flow. This goes and goes slowly, and I'm sure many a Tesla driver can confirm it's embarrassing when you change lane. Curvature assist active, so yeah, okay, it's slowing down for that. There's a roundabout, it's kind of hit the brakes now. These indicators on the steering wheel, you do get used to it. The biggest problem is, look, it's just not as good as an indicator really in reality, but I have got used to it. I'm not really one to complain about this. All right, let's try this. Let's set cruise control and autopilot now, 40, good. The biggest problem with this is if you then drive another car and get back in this, i.e. maybe your wife's car, a partner's car, somebody else's car, another work car, get back in this, you've lost the memory again, the muscle memory. So it hasn't changed to 70, no, so I'm going to accelerate, sorry, 60 here. I'll engage it again, it will go to 60, divides to 2 lanes, what do we do? Ah, Christ, don't go to head-on traffic, at least pick the left-hand side. Okay. Okay, back to autopilot here. It's going to merge to 1 lane. There's some traffic in front. I expect it to slow down here. So this is now from 60 to 40. It's recognised that and it's set that. So it seems to be slowing down, okay, but it doesn't change the speed until you've gone through the sign. It doesn't kind of go, it's 40 ahead and start slowing down. So you're still breaking the law with the speed limits. You have to be very careful with this. Vehicle in front, let's just see what it does here. Again, person taking control will just go to the left a little bit and go around that, but that's fine. Car possibly pulling out. Yeah, it did brake, but okay. Good to be cautious, but calm down a little bit, you know, just be ready, maybe move to the side a little bit. You just can't do better than a person, basically. Well, this is nowhere near doing better than a person. Let's put it like that. We're not like, oh, this is quite good apart from a few situations which I would amend. This is still a long way, long way from being anywhere near autonomous. I think for autonomous driving, we need different road markings, probably different road signs that the car can read. There'll be like a QR code there that the car can read and says, you know, keep right for this, indicate now for left or whatever, you know. Again, I'll reiterate, I'm the first to say I wouldn't normally use autopilot on such roads, but it shows we're so far from it, and actually it still has inherent faults, even on motorways, and it's still, even on roads like this, when you try and use adaptive speed cruise control, not as good as other manufacturers at the end of the day. So this is 60. Now this is a really important one. This is 60 and it'll go to 30 up here. And there's a school level crossing up here. So you do want to be doing 30. Now this is trying to do 60 all day long. And we're in 30, there's a kid on his bike to school, and it's only slowed down because that car in front was braking. And now we're down to 30. But if I'd left this we'd be braking now, going through into that 30 zone. So this is something Tesla need to really work on. It's 30 ahead. I will slow down to 30 as I go through the 30 sign. And again, just stuff cars can't do here. Bollards, cars sticking out. This button for enabling the cruise control, you can do 1 click or double click. I actually prefer double click because I like to just use adaptive cruise more often than any autopilot. But when you cancel it, when you engage it, sometimes it just doesn't click properly or work. It's just annoying. And although you hear bing bongs, I am having to look here to know whether it's engaged and stuff. And this is where the lack of head-up display is an issue. Now, I'm not particularly a fan of head-up display, I'll be honest. I don't mind it. I would usually turn it off actually at night on a long journey. But it is useful to know if the car is in steering, adaptive cruise, or it's all off. And that's a really useful thing, whereas on this car I don't. It's bing bong in a way, but I need to see here on these symbols what mode I'm in, you know. So it's slowing to 23 here, probably because of the cyclist up ahead. Let's see what it does if I'm in. I'll take over, no point. So the Tesla should fare better on motorways, right? That's more where you're likely to use it. Well, it's actually a motorway, so 70 miles per hour, section of dual carriageway. And I've just engaged autopilot. It should switch to navigating autopilot. which it normally would do, but won't now because I'm trying to show you. And in navigating autopilot, it will prompt to change lanes. But look, I'm going to manually change lanes now. Come on. No, it doesn't want to do it. Now there's a car coming up behind me too quickly to change lanes. And that's a typical example of it just being sort of frustrating. It should let me just change lanes, accelerate, and we get up to 70 miles per hour, which is the speed limit. Here we go. Here's navigate on autopilot. Right, so now it's prompting to change lanes. I don't want to because there's an Audi coming up and that's not really going to be appropriate, but I'll let him come past because I know what will happen if I don't. If I do change lanes, I'll just sit there. So now I've got to indicate to confirm to change lanes. So here we go. Here's the lane change. It's doing that. And come on, accelerate, accelerate. And this is probably me change lane. Now there's a BMW right up behind me already. And it's just this lethargic acceleration. What the VW does is, as soon as you indicate, it accelerates nicely up to the speed. So you do merge much nicer. You get up to speed. It's sort of, you end up pulling out in front of people. They just then thinking, what the hell are you doing? Go on then. If you're overtaking, then go. I'm indicating to go into the left lane. I'm on the Mad Max setting for the fastest lane changes. And I'm going to be coming up to a slower vehicle in front. Let's see what the scenario is here. So to the side of me, coming past is a Volvo. BMW is now going into that lane. So he'll accelerate and go past. Now I'm now slowing down. And then where's my prompt to change lanes? There isn't one. Again, if I was just driving, I would have merged into that lane a long time ago and just kept going at 70. Now we're going 53. Now the truck behind me is starting to catch up. So come on in, change lanes. No? Okay, well let's do it now myself then. So let's tell it wants to change lanes. Now we're just starting to accelerate a bit. This is a Model 3 performance. You can accelerate quicker than this. Come on. There we go. It hasn't got to be flat out, but just kind of, again, it's hard to know what picks up in camera, but I'm sure many a Tesla owner will confirm that when you change lanes, it just doesn't really pick up to its speed quickly enough. On a motorway or a carriageway, it's centering in the lane quite nicely. What I can't really do, like, is if there's a vehicle there, I want to kind of come over in the lane a little bit just to give a bit more space. That cancels the system. Again, in other cars, you tend to have a bit more flexibility. This wants to go bang in the middle of the lane. Okay, so now we should be going to the left-hand lane because I'm not overtaking anything. I'm sat in lane 2. No. No. Okay, well, I better make it do that then. It's doing its lane change. Back to that. And now the vehicles in front have just started slowing down. So come on in, overtake. No? Then I'll do that. We're going to sit at 62. Okay. And it's just this kind of frustration. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it just isn't. And it doesn't let you move around in the lane. And it doesn't accelerate and keep with the flow of traffic nicely. The thing with the Teslas is that you can feel they're quite capable, or will be capable somehow one day, I think. The cameras all around, the Tesla vision should detect those cars are moving along quite... Oh, now it wants me to change lanes. Okay. Okay, coming in. Slow to react. Again, accelerate, come on. Cars are coming up behind. Now we're starting to accelerate, really. There we go. And it's just the kind of inconsistency with what it's doing, and it just doesn't give you... Okay, I'll indicate now. We're just going past the car, so I don't know why it wanted to do it then. Now we're getting into that lane. And this Model 3 speed camera ahead, there is indeed. It goes to 50 and there's a speed camera, so I want to make sure we're not going more than 50. Can you hear that droning noise at 70 miles an hour? As Model 3 Performance had this droning noise ever since I've had it. The tyres just drone at 70. I've heard this from a few buyers now, a few owners. So it's slowing down, but only really because the vehicle in front's braking. We're now going 60. There's the camera. I'm going to have to brake because I'm going to get a speeding ticket otherwise. Okay, so now the ID.3. And what you won't be able to see from this camera angle, of course, is I've got a head-up display in this is They won't all have it, but this ID.3 does. There's quite a few that does. And this autopilot travel assist, I think VW call it, is included in quite a lot of cars. It would depend on the spec, I think, but I've had it in most of the VW ID.3s I've had, I think. So straight away, as we went from that same start, 40 to 50, this car set to 50. I've put travel assist on. You can select just adaptive cruise control, a bit like the Tesla, but it's on travel assist, which does the steering and the speed limits and adaptive distance control. And it's showing me on the head-up display, it's a solid line on the left, broken line in the middle of the road. This is the steering now. So this is steering itself. I'm kind of letting go, but ready to grab it. So it does do the corners. Again, you've got to kind of keep an eye on it, but it does do that. I'll let it do its own steering. I'll tell you when I interrupt it, if you know what I mean. This will be doing its own thing. But like I say, what it does allow is a bit more freedom. So there's a junction here, there's a car pulling out. Now the display's just telling me it's 30 ahead. It's telling me already it's going to go down to 30. But what it does allow me to do is move the vehicle around in the lane a bit more. And we're going, there's the 30 signs, we're slowing down a bit already now, 44. So this is where we went barreling into this at 50 in the Tesla, then it all braked at the last minute, and we're doing now 32, so just a little bit over, but much more like it. And we're now doing 30 as we go around the bend. It's much calmer than the Tesla. I haven't touched any pedals at all. Again, 30 here. And this is doing its own steering, which is where the Tesla went a bit wide onto the cat's eyes. This is within, just coming just onto the cat's eyes, same as the Tesla actually, on the exit there. But I do like having a bit of the kind of ability to move around the lane a bit. Like I said, there's a junction there, or if I want to go left a bit or right a bit in a lane, I can do that without the system cancelling. And it still feels like I'm driving more rather than the car saying, I want to do this, and if you have to kind of fight it, you then cancel it, and you just don't get that with this. So it's pointed out on the head-up display there was a vehicle coming to the exit there, so it slowed down a bit more, and that's why it just slowed down. Now they backed up, it went back up to, in fact I prodded it, so I've knocked it over to 32. But here we go, I'm not touching anything now, and we're doing 30. So it is aware of other traffic approaching junctions. Now here's a 40 sign, will it increase to 40? Gone through that, and now there's 40 and it's increasing to 40. Now Tesla, I haven't pressed the pedal. This is doing that. That's where the Tesla doesn't increase the speed. And we're now going at 40. It doesn't accelerate hard, but it doesn't dither around. The Tesla's just dithering around a bit with that, you know, increasing speeds and such like. So this does it just about right, I think. Just progressively gets to the speed limit. Not too fast, not too slow. Telling me now it's 30 ahead. I can see that on the display right in front of me here and on the head-up display as well. And so now it's slowing down, and therefore this is the bit where we went through at 40. We're now doing 30, and I was getting warnings from that kind of sign up there that's measuring the speed, and I get no warning in this. Displayed 30 is reading us 28 on there. So the vehicle there caused this car to slow down. So I just interrupted there to accelerate a little bit and say it was okay and steer past it. But although I braked a little bit and steered past it, it didn't cancel the system. Sorry, I accelerated and steered past it. It didn't cancel the system. If I brake, it would, but I didn't need to brake it. It slowed down. So the head-up display is telling me that the road is bending, and it's telling me what the directions are going to be in 250 meters. Again, this is doing the steering at the moment. Do I need to brake? No, this is doing the steering, and we're doing, just slow this down a little bit there to 29 as we go around the corner. That felt about right, to be honest. I've got a head-up display giving me the directions. It does like an augmented overlay, and the dashboard is now also strobing to tell me we're going right here, which is good. I haven't pressed any brake or accelerator yet, so that slowed down to, I think, just about the right amount for that corner. I'll indicate left here, and as it's straightening out, we're bringing back up to 30, and ahead is the 40 sign. So I didn't have to intervene with brake or throttle there. I could just let the car do its thing really, and I just had the steering to make sure we go around because it's a tight corner. Gone through the 40, here we go, accelerating to 40. And this is kind of the best camera angle I could get on the VW because I don't have a glass roof to stick the camera to, so I'm suctioned onto the interior roof lights. Hopefully you can still see the speed here. But if not, we are doing currently 39. It's just slowing down now because it's 30 ahead. Good. Okay, there we go through, and we're all legally driving at 30. Nice and pleasantly through the Hampshire countryside on the way to work. Bend ahead, 28 miles per hour. So it's telling me it's going to slow down as we go in this bend. It's doing the steering, and I've just got it as well. In fact, I'll let it do all of that. And I've got the kind of steering there as we go around to the right. I can steer it out here. I'm not interacting. I can tell at the moment from the head-up display it's not doing lane keeping because of that vehicle in the road. Now it's telling me it's doing lane keeping again. You might see in this display here a sort of more basic version of that. Again, I haven't, because I had to steer over the line and everything, it hasn't cancelled the system. It's still just running and it's keeping the speed to the speed limit. So it's about kind of how much it interferes, how much it lets you intervene with it. And I just find this quite nice and easy to use, and it still feels like I'm driving. It's just helping me. It's gone to 40, 40 detected, speeds up to 40. Good. I have to say, inside the cabin of the ID.3 is just as quiet as a Tesla, I think, as well. We really like, we've had the ID.3s, well, this is the second one now, but we went on the one with the bigger battery because we're doing some more mileage, but they've been great, no problem. And the car's doing the steering, but if I want to come right over, out of the drain, for example, that pothole there, I can go, right, I want to go away from that pothole and steer around that without it cancelling the system. The Tesla would just stay in the lane and thunder over a pothole, for example. So you can see how you can interact with this, and the system just stays on. You're not constantly engaging it, re-engaging it, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. And it's little bits like that that is why I think you can use this drive assist or travel assist system in more scenarios than you can with autopilot. You're not just restricted to motorways, for example. So let's see here, this with the Tesla went very narrow, very much in the middle of the road. But here, yeah, much smoother actually through there. Again, I was interrupting the Tesla there because you can see there were some other white lines that come in. Okay, so here we are, the VW intersection dual carriageway. It's a 70 miles per hour piece of road, and the vehicle in front is currently doing 58, 59 miles an hour. So if I indicate now to change lanes, it instantly starts speeding up. So I'm merging with the traffic much better. That's going faster in the other lane. And that just works better. Now this doesn't say, can I change lanes like the Tesla does if you have enhanced autopilot, but I can keep the system on. I've just indicated it instantly releases the steering wheel for lane change rather than keeping it in the lane, and it accelerates up smoothly, so I'm merging with the faster lane of traffic better. Now coming to a roundabout here, so again the car's set for 40, well 70, but now it's gone to the 40 zone, so it's slowed down to 40, 41, okay, I'll let it off 1 mile per hour. And there's some traffic ahead as we're approaching a roundabout, and it's now slowing down for that. I'm not pressing the brake at all. This is the car doing all that. Again, there's information head-up display telling me it's going to do all that, and it's telling me at the roundabout I need to loop around the other side. I'm still in travel assist, and the little display in front of me saying that the active cruise control is ready to start. So if the vehicle in front pulls away, does this? Yes, indeed it does. So it's actually in traffic jams that I find these kind of adaptive cruise systems, you know, some of the best places to use them. Again, I haven't actually cancelled the adaptive cruise travel assist system. It's still running at the moment. It's actually turning to the left now as we come to this roundabout junction. I wonder what it does if we go onto the roundabout. Let's have a look. So there's still a vehicle in front, so it's holding back from them. They've gone. So, oh, it's actually, I haven't pressed the pedal yet. It's accelerating onto the roundabout. Okay. Okay, fair enough. That's still running. It did that quite nicely. I was about to press the throttle, and it just did it itself. Indicating as we go around the roundabout here. Be taking the next exit. So as we come around here, again, augmented head up telling me I've got to take that exit. So it set itself to 70 miles per hour, 70 detected. And I want to just stay behind this van and see what it does in terms of overtaking. So he's sort of going about 55, so let me indicate to overtake, and instantly it's now speeding up. It's relaxed the steering, I'm in lane 2. There we go. Picked up speed quite nicely to merge into that second lane. So as we go around this corner and come to the roundabout, I'm going to see what it does. It's telling me it's 40 ahead. And it's already started decreasing its speed a little bit now as we go around the roundabout, so that's better. The Tesla came kind of barreling around this curve a little bit more. And this already knows it's slowing to 40. It knows there's a 40 sign just before the roundabout. Now it's slowing down because there's a van in front of us as well. I'm not braking at all. This is the vehicle. And then we go left here. Okay, that's good. I actually haven't interacted with this yet on the pedals. I'm helping with the steering here, but the system is still running. I haven't got to disengage, re-engage at all. And I'm finding that even at these roundabouts, I can just follow the vehicle in front. Or it slows down correctly because it's a corner, effectively. Again, I'll keep it all running. So I think this is doing quite a good job. I haven't pressed the pedal for quite a while now. I can adjust the distance I keep to the vehicle in front, of course. So it's locked into lane again, and I'm going to see here, this is where the road ahead, A, it goes to 60, then B, it divides to 2 lanes, and the Tesla didn't know what to do. They actually veered off and felt like it was going to head-on traffic. So I'm going to kind of let the steering wheel do its thing. It's detected at 60, so it's picking up speed, but the vehicles in front are probably holding it back. What's it going to do here? I'm ready to grab the wheel, and it's gone to the middle, but now it's detected as 2 lanes. And it's telling me to take the steering. I did, and moved it over, but it didn't jolt in any one direction. It just kind of went, I'm not sure, can you direct me? I went to the left, and then it locked in. Again, it's probably hard here because I'm seeing some stuff on the head-up display, which I just can't film unless I put the camera right in front of my eyes. So it's quite hard to do all that, but I'm just describing it as best as I can, hopefully. Again, I haven't had to press the pedal. I had to just help it choose which lane to take back there. So as before, let's take a right at this junction. I actually haven't pressed the pedal yet still. It's slowing down, the vehicles in front have slowed down, so this is just following the same thing. I'm ready to hit the brake if I need to, and I presume at a junction like this I should, but actually there's a road sweeper there, so I can just let it do its thing. I still haven't braked, accelerated. It's doing all this quite smoothly. 60 is detected. Accelerating at quite a nice speed there to keep up to the vehicle in front, who's now braking. Again, it's lane centering, but I can move it around in the lane, around a pothole. It's telling me 30 ahead. This is where there was a school child earlier. There's a school just up here and a crossing. And this will slow. I mean, it's slowing now as well because the vehicle in front is, but I can tell you, I can promise you now, that this slows down for the speed limit. Again, see there was that parked car there. Now this system kept running, and I could just sort of steer between the gap between the parked car and the oncoming traffic, and it didn't make an issue out of it. I just went through it. The travel assist is still running. It's not cancelled, off, on again. I didn't have to fight the steering wheel. As we come up to this awkward junction here, or not junction, but kind of staggered islands. Again, I'm doing the steering around that. It's telling me I need to do the steering at the moment to head up, but I haven't had to turn the system off yet. It's still doing all the speed itself. It's locked back into the steering now. Junction ahead. So I'm not doing the brakes here at all. I'm going to let the car decide what it's going to do for speed here. That's nice, good. So it goes around the corner, and now it's accelerating. Yeah, cool. So I didn't have to brake or do anything. Again, it's still just running. Yeah, it's just running. Come up to some temporary traffic lights here, and this is braking. Really because the car in front is braking, but in the UK there's nearly always somebody in front of you. If it wasn't for that, then I would have probably had to intervene and brake, unless it was already a green light. But as it stands, I can just let it do its thing. I can drive it along. It's probably the big difference for head-up display is it communicating to you what it can do, what it's doing at the time. So it's telling me when it's not locking into lane, and it's telling me when it is locked into lane. So I know what it's doing. Parked car on the corner there. Fine, it's still running. In fact, the car started turning a bit early, I think, to allow for that. Warning me there's a junction ahead. And I quite like the way VW do the augmented nav. So it comes up on the head-up display with a big arrow now saying turn left here, and then it gives you the dashboard slide, which the Tesla now has those dashboard lights. So I'm not pressing any pedal still, it's just slowed down automatically to do the turn, and as I release the steering wheel, it picks up speed again. Okay, so to summarise and conclude, it's hard to film this stuff on the camera. You don't quite get the same sense of space and speed and stuff like that, and you can't see the same view as a driver, so it's always hard to record it, but hopefully that's a useful demonstration to show you where I feel like the Tesla system's frustrating and this VW system is actually quite good. There are always going to be odd scenarios of one does one better than the other, but you know, overall, you can kind of feel that the Tesla could be the better system. You know, it could potentially do full self-driving one day, but it just feels like we're so far from that. And in the meantime, it's frustrating, but also potentially dangerous, and you're just engaging, re-engaging it, it's cancelling, you're fighting it. It's very flawed, and yet they charge a lot of money for something that just isn't delivering, it just isn't there yet. And I drive lots of different cars, and the reality is many other cars just do it better, certainly on UK roads, where, you know, we don't have just dead straight roads and cross junctions. We have these curving roads with mixed speed limits changing all the time, very different from a lot of US roads. And the reality is a lot of other cars just do it better. VW, Audi, Porsche, BMW, to name but a few. You know, Hyundai, Kia, all got their similar systems, tend to be included with the higher spec cars and tend to just work better. I find I can do many more miles in this car where I don't need to change the speed of the pedals. It's got my speed. I know I'm not speeding. It's got the right amount of interaction. I still feel like I'm driving because I'm still doing most of the steering. I can still override it in the lane. I can still miss that pothole. I can still come a little bit wider from that blind junction. In a Tesla, if you try and do that, it fights you, you know, and it cancels it and goes, right, you're not having it then. This is just, I just prefer using it. And now a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. Write your comments below. I'd be interested to read them. Because if you drive a Tesla and other cars, or if you've had a Tesla, then you've driven another car, if it's, you know, driver assistant packages, what have you found to be the differences? What's better? What's worse? So do leave your comments below. I'd be really interested to read them. Of course, different driving scenarios, different people, different countries, all going to make a difference. So it'd be really good to see all that feedback down below and see what you think. But that's it for now from me. I hope that's been an interesting video, and I hope you hit the subscribe button if you're not already, and I can see you on another one very soon.